Hey guys, today we'll be discussing Volume 11, The Hero Awakens. This is the story of Chloe who goes back 2,000 years into the past. Before anything else, the skill of time travel must be engraved in Chloe's soul because this skill lets her start the first time travel. She cannot receive this skill in the dwellings of the spirits because there is no future Chloe, as this is the original unaltered timeline. There are three main entities at play here: Chloe, Hinata's soul from the original timeline, and the unnamed Chronoa, who will later receive a name. Chloe said to Hinata that when she travels back in time, she loses her memories. However, upon arriving in the past, she regained her memories from previous timelines. Now, let's start from the very beginning. In this timeline, Rimuru just left the Ingrasha kingdom. Instead of Hinata attacking Rimuru, he didn't encounter Hinata. So Rimuru returned to the Jura Tempest. He stopped the Otherworlders from killing Shion and the civilians in Tempest and effectively never had a war with Farmuth. As a result, Rimuru was not awakened as a true demon lord. Few years later, everything changed when the Eastern Empire attacked. Chloe, who had a major crush on Rimuru at the time, begged him not to go, but he assured her that everything will be fine and gave her the mask as a gift. Rimuru left and never returned. Tempest suffered a huge defeat. This is the timeline without the primordials under Rimuru, so that is not really difficult to imagine. Then Veldora got released and ran amok due to Rimuru's death. Chloe, Luminous, and Hinata tried to defeat the unruly Veldora. Neelam also went wild due to Rimuru's death, so Guy had to intervene. Otherwise, the world would have collapsed. Later, Hinata was assassinated in front of Chloe, and her soul went into Chloe's body, along with her usurper and mathematician skills. This activates Chloe's time traveler skill and they travel back 2,000 years into the past, leaving the body of Chloe behind. Now, this is the start of Hinata's soul traveling with Chloe back to the past. Let's call this the first timeline. By the way, these timelines were created over many loops, with the outcome changing little by little. First timeline. Chloe and Hinata find themselves in the distant past, right before Veldora destroys the city of vampires. Here, she reveals to Hinata that this isn't the first time that she has time traveled back to the past. They went to Luminous after warning her about the storm dragon laying waste to her country. They earned Luminous' trust and reveals to her about the future, sharing only the essential information to minimize casualties and avoid altering the past, ensuring that events still lead back to the present. Chloe and Hinata sealed the storm dragon, and since Chloe is a divine human who possessed a mortal body that never aged, they decided to continue doing heroic stuffs for the next 1,700 years. It is now 300 years before Rimuru is reincarnated as a slime, and the child Chloe is about to be summoned for the first time along with her childhood friend, Leon. Since two souls cannot exist at the same time, the soul of Chloe disappeared, leaving Hinata behind. Moments after being summoned, the child Chloe disappeared, leading Leon to spend centuries looking for ways to get her back. Yuki, who had heard about a demon lord attempting to summon someone from another world, approached Leon under the guise of offering assistance. Unbeknownst to Leon, Yuki was successful in summoning the child Chloe, but in fact was the reason she disappeared in the first place. Now, here's where Chloe has been stuck in a loop that never ends. Chloe's time travel ability then travels forward in time to when Rimuru and Ramirez are summoning spirits to save the kids, and this merges with young Chloe. This marks the time loop Chloe has been trapped in. Now, for the second timeline. Together with Hinata, Chloe warns Luminous about Veldora attacking her city once again. They reveal to Luminous that they came from the future, and they devise a plan together to break the time loop. The same things happen over again. They sealed the storm dragon and continue their heroic deeds. While on their journey as a hero, Hinata suggests that she give herself a different name, which they decided to be Chronoa. This causes Hinata to actually lost her skills, similar to how someone loses their magicules when naming a monster. Since Hinata no longer had magicules or life force to give up for a naming, but what she did have was her soul. So the naming took up the highest energy piece of her soul that wasn't housing her consciousness and used that as the payment for the naming. It is not clear at what point or after how many loops Chronoa became sentient and able to control the body on her own. If you don't know, Chronoa was initially a split personality of Chloe created from the trauma she experiences from this infinite time loop. She is prone to intense emotional outbursts, violence, and rampages. As the time for Chloe to be summoned for the first time with Leon approached, Chloe told their friend Luminous to seal her body in the holy casket before they reach that point in time. The reason for this is because in this timeline, Rimuru never awakens as a true demon lord and dies from the Eastern Empire again. And due to Hinata always dying from a mysterious attack, Chloe's time travel ability is triggered again, sending them both back 2,000 years into the past, leaving Chronoa behind. It is now around 60 years before Rimuru gets reincarnated as a slime. Hinata is now in control of Chloe's body, and decides to rescue Shizu from Leon. They travel together, but Hinata is slowly losing control of her body to Chronoa as time gets closer to when Hinata is first summoned to this world. She successfully rescued Shizu and gave her the anti-magic mask. Fast forward, Chronoa wakes up with all of the memories of Chloe from the events that has occurred previously. With Rimuru gone and nothing left, Chronoa goes berserk and tries to destroy the world until nothing is left. This leads to a fight with Gi that leads to Chronoa being fatally injured. Just before dying, Chronoa saw Rimuru again. Chronoa exchanges blows with Rimuru and slowly realizes that Rimuru is still alive. However, she noticed something is different with Rimuru. She sees Rimuru more like a god. He was awakened and much stronger. But the fatal injury meant her life would be ending soon. As her life faded, she could feel herself time travel to an unknown point in the past. Rimuru, with the help of the newly evolved Raphael, was able to influence her time travel to reach Chloe during the event where Rimuru saved the kids by having spirits inhabit them. Its important point to consider here is that Rimuru intervened with Chronoa's time skip, probably sending back some memories too, but we can only speculate as Chronoa did not understood it too. Now, let's move on to the final timeline. The third timeline. Everything goes like the last timeline. Chloe arrives from the future. She has the mask and Hinata's soul. They go under the name of Chronoa, sealed the Storm Dragon and befriended Luminous. The reason they needed a new name was because Leon will eventually arrive to the Cardinal World 300 years before Rimuru, and will search for Chloe, and she needed to be undercover. 300 years before Rimuru gets reincarnated as a slime, Chloe's soul left her body due to her being summoned by Yuki in the future, leaving Hinata and Chronoa behind. Later, Hinata with Chloe's body along with Chronoa went to get sealed off by Luminous before her soul disappears when she reaches the point in time where she is first summoned, leaving Chronoa behind. Fast forward, the child Chloe now able to remember the previous events, thanks to Rimuru helping them inside the dwelling of spirits. He gives them spirits, but Chloe ends up getting Chronoa from the future. When Chronoa merged with young Chloe, unlike any time before, she starts getting some of her memories earlier than expected. This causes young Chloe to delay Rimuru's departure from Ingrasha just enough to force a confrontation between Rimuru and Hinata, which had never happened before because Hinata always missed him. As a result, Rimuru wasn't there to fight off the three otherworlders from Falmouth, leading them to rampage in his city and kill Xion and others. These events forced Rimuru to awaken as a true demon lord sooner, summoning Diablo, and forming the Black Numbers, significantly shifting the world's power balance. The events go completely off prediction when out of nowhere Hinata is almost killed during the showdown between Rimuru and Hinata. You see, Chloe has looped back in time so many times that she is older than the primordial, maybe even older than the verse itself. And that is the end of Chloe's and Hinata's story of how they traveled back in time 2,000 years into the past. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more content like this. Feel free to leave a comment below with your thoughts or any suggestions for future videos.